an unforgettable Friday. I'm Chris Salas.
I'm Laura Painter. We start tonight with breaking news from here at ABC 10. Sacramento police are investigating after 3 gunshots were fired into the lobby of the ABC 10 building. It happened at around 1:40 this afternoon. Investigators say it was a drive-by shooting.
We did have employees in the building at the time, but thankfully no one was hurt. Investigators are now reviewing surveillance video, searching for any possible suspect information.
Fortunately, we haven't had a lot of attacks on our media partners, and we like to keep it that way. This is unacceptable behavior, and so, to those that may have been responsible for this, and I hope you see this, we're not going to stop looking for you. This is unacceptable behavior. It's not going to be tolerated in Sacramento.
Our parent company, Tegna, has released this statement saying, quote, "While details are still limited, importantly, all of our employees are safe and unharmed. We are fully cooperating with law enforcement and have taken additional measures to ensure the continued safety of our employees," end quote. We will continue to follow this developing story and bring you updates as soon as we get them.
Tonight, gunshots fired at an ABC-affiliated television station in Sacramento. Bullet holes seen in the window of the lobby. An employee of the Tegna-owned station telling NBC News someone pulled up, fired into the lobby, and drove off.
We're not going to stop looking for you. This is unacceptable behavior. It's not going to be tolerated in Sacramento.
At least one person was in the lobby at the time, according to the station employee. Police say nobody was injured. While the motive is unknown, it comes amid backlash.
So, the motive could be one of 3 things. The motive for a person to shoot at an ABC studio in Sacramento, California, it could be a random act. It could be a far extreme right-wing person who supports Trump and MAGA, for Jimmy Kimmel even saying the words he said. And if you're wondering what Jimmy Kimmel said, check out my previous video to this one. It clearly lays out what Jimmy Kimmel said, which led to his indefinite suspension from ABC broadcasting. Or the motive could have been that the Republicans are winning on all levels and somehow influence Jimmy Kimmel to get suspended indefinitely. Right? It could be one of the 3. We don't know, but we gonna get deep into the story as we go further.
To the decision by Disney, ABC's parent company, to suspend Jimmy Kimmel's late night show following the comments he made about Charlie Kirk's alleged assassin. Tonight, as ABC remains silent about the future of Kimmel, criticism growing over the company's decision and how the head of the FCC appeared to pressure ABC. In a rare break from the Trump administration, Republican Senator Ted Cruz joining those criticizing FCC Chairman Brendan Carr.
It's fine to say what Jimmy Kimmel said was deplorable, it was disgraceful, and he should be off air, but we shouldn't be threatening government power to force him off air. That's a real mistake.
President Trump tonight responded.
Well, I do agree with Senator Ted Cruz. At what point do we draw the line on curbing free speech? Now, Americans and anyone who lives in America, whether you are here legally or illegally, you have a right to say what you want to say. That is what free speech is. But free speech does not protect you from the consequences of what you said. Okay? If you are working for a company and then you, on your off time, you trash that company publicly on your social media outlets or whatever the case is, that company has a right to fire you because you're not acting in the best interest of that company. And as well as it was your right to say whatever you said about that company. So you can't have it both ways. Like, free speech does not protect you from the consequences of what you said.
I think Brendan Carr as a great American patriot. So I disagree with Ted Cruz on that.
And also, again, suggesting revoking licenses from broadcasters that air unfavorable coverage of him.
They'll take a great story and they'll make it bad. See, I think that's really illegal, personally.
Meanwhile, outside Disney,
free speech is under attack.
protests growing.
So what does this have to do about trying to track down the motive for someone who shot up an ABC local station in Sacramento, California? What does talking about Trump and protests and all this, they may be wanting to build a backdrop, but I just feel that this reporting compared to the first one you saw is more left leaning. It's leaning hard too, just based on not fully focusing on the task at hand, which is to report on as much information as you have about the shooter, what happened to the shooter, and the reason why the shooter did the shooting.
From New York to LA.
For a second day in a row now, supporters of Jimmy Kimmel are gathering outside Disney's headquarters, calling for him to be put back on the air. Many telling us they're now boycotting the company.
I'm canceling Hulu. I'm not going to watch Disney, and I'm going to avoid their advertisers like the plague.
Former Disney CEO Michael Eisner also now weighing in, writing on X, if not for university presidents, law firm managing partners, and corporate chief executives standing up against bullies, who then will step up for the First Amendment.
Jimmy, just let me say, I stand with you and your staff 100%.
With Kimmel still off the air, fellow late-night hosts now speaking up for him.
That is blatant censorship.
In America, we have a little something called the First Amendment. And let me tell you how it...
Witnesses say 64-year-old Anibel Hernandez Santana was eating an ice cream in front of this River Park apartment complex Friday when suddenly...
Oh, they got the SWAT car out here.
A swarm of Sacramento officers rushed in.
And we've been at this apartment for 3 years.
In 3 years for Angela, this was a first.
We made eye contact, and right as he passed my windshield, I heard on a loudspeaker a whole bunch of officers say, "Get down on the ground or we're going to shoot." And 9 marked and unmarked vehicles were all surrounding my car. He just had a normal demeanor.
Police say Hernandez Santana fired at least 3 gunshots into the lobby of the ABC 10 studios Friday afternoon. Our own co-workers were inside, but no one was injured.
Well, when you showed me the picture, I like I said, I see him all the time. So
Neighbors like Destiny Rich know him as Al.
the interactions we did share together were brief. If I had to notice anything about him, it was the fact that maybe he wasn't always the most friendliest or like welcoming. He wasn't anyone that I would ever like sit and talk to.
He was just like a keep to himself kind of a guy, like literally just wouldn't like talk to anybody besides saying, "What's up? How's it going?"
According to online court records, Hernandez Santana filed a wrongful termination lawsuit against the nonprofit California Rural Indian Health Board. Variety reporting that the lawsuit was withdrawn in 2020 and that when he was fired, he got into a verbal confrontation with supervisors who called police. Sacramento police told us they've had interactions with Hernandez Santana in the past, but did not share details on those interactions. They have not released a motive in the shooting. Facebook and X accounts matching the suspect's name and picture posted frequently, criticizing the Trump administration. In the past week, posts on X were daily. A post on X in July reading in part, quote, "The authoritarian oligarchy is now complete," and quote, "Rules don't apply if election was stolen. Fight." Hours before.
So you saw that, right? Let's bring that back real quick, right? Oligarchy, authoritarian. What kind of language do you? What kind of group of people will use that language? Just take a second, just take a moment to think about it, right? And then they gonna try to talk about there ain't no motive. If I had to rub 2 brain cells together, I would conclude that due to the language in this text right here that you see, oligarchy and authoritarian. Look, listen, you and you're talking about fighting and all this ice goons. Look, just take a guess on what group, what party this individual is associated with. Allegedly shooting at a radio station or a TV station in Sacramento, California. Who does all that? Burning Teslas, burning whole cities in 2020? Who does that? Right? Just keep that in mind.
Hours before the shooting, the same X account reposted a video of a Republican congressman saying the late conservative activist Charlie Kirk would have been the 13th disciple. The account commenting in part, quote, "This is blasphemy. Can't believe these Republicans sucking up to their own twisted show." The day before the shooting, there were protests in front of ABC 10. The demonstration was over ABC's decision to pull Jimmy Kimmel Live following criticism over Kimmel's recent comments on Charlie Kirk's assassination and his MAGA characterization of the suspect. ABC 10 is an affiliate of ABC, but not owned by the network. It is owned by Tegna.
Honestly, violence is not the way to resolve things, but I'm pretty sure I can speak on behalf of all of us that, we're all in question.
Hernandez Santana is set to appear in court on Tuesday afternoon. His charges include discharge of a firearm at an inhabited dwelling, discharge of a firearm in a grossly negligent manner, and assault with a deadly weapon. Defense attorney Mark Reichel is representing the suspect, and he declined our request for an interview. In Sacramento, Gabriel Porras, ABC 10.
If you live in a Virginia zip code and have
To a developing story, the man accused of opening fire at a Sacramento news station, ABC 10, has been arrested by the FBI after posting bail for his initial arrest. KCRA 3's Aaron Heff joins us live now from the federal courthouse where the suspect will appear before a judge tomorrow afternoon. Aaron, good morning.
Good morning, Leticia. Yes, after posting bail and being released, the FBI has now rearrested 64-year-old Anibal Hernandez Santana. Now, he was arrested for violating federal statute 47 USC 333, which has to do with the interference to radio communications of a station that are licensed by the government. Hernandez Santana is the suspect in the shooting that led to an investigation at ABC 10 along Broadway in Sacramento. On Friday, police were called to the building in response to shots fired from outside. When they arrived, 3 bullet holes could be seen in the window of the building's lobby. And despite the building being occupied, no one was hurt. That's when the investigation began. Later the same day, KCRA 3 saw police in the River Park neighborhood, including SWAT teams. A witness at the scene reported seeing a man tackled and then taken into custody. Hernandez Santana was booked on 3 felony charges, facing assault with a deadly weapon, discharge of a firearm in a negligent manner, and discharge of firearms at an inhabited building. Hernandez Santana was held on a $200,000 bail and was released earlier on Saturday. But he was once again taken into custody and now arrested by the FBI. Back out here live in front of the federal courthouse here in Sacramento. According to the FBI, Hernandez Santana will be set for his first court appearance. That happens 2 o'clock tomorrow, so Monday at 2 p.m. In Sacramento, Aaron Heff, KCRA 3 News.
Aaron, thank you so much for your...
All right, so you basically get the idea of, I mean, truly the purpose of this video was to react to the Sacramento ABC news station getting shot up by a random guy, right? His name is in the report. I didn't do enough to retain his name in short memory for repeating it over and over again in my report. But the fact remains, and I'm going to put a bow on it, right? At the end of the day, it's, unless somebody is breaking into your home or violating you physically or mentally or whatever the case is, and somebody's trying to carjack you or steal your money, and if it's an imminent threat, then look, violence is the way you deal with that, right? It could be the form of defense with a little bit of offense, looking for an opportunity to break away and then run away. Even if you can kick the dude's ass, if you end up kicking his ass too much, then you can get into much deeper trouble than what you already are, right? But when it comes to voicing opinions, in Charlie Kirk's case, in my case, and everybody's case that live this earth, and they have a right to their opinion, they don't deserve to get whacked for it. They don't deserve to get whacked for it. And when you disrespect the dead, when you disrespect somebody who was doing good for the people, even if the dude was bad, right? It doesn't give you the opportunity to insult that man and his family, right? What kind of world are we living in? This isn't how we should be behaving. And so I'll wrap it up with free speech comes free speech. You can say what you want to say, but free speech, the First Amendment, is not protection against the consequences that come after that. Look at Kanye West. Suffered consequences for saying what he wanted to say, right? Countless other figures. President Trump, same thing, right? The Dixie Chicks back in like the early 2000s said some dumb shit and their sales went down, right? Free speech is free speech, but it doesn't protect you from the consequences. I'll see you on the next one. Thank you for watching.